Okay, quick Thursday morning radar update, and what a fine day it is today. Portfolio bumping all-time highs all this week, and finally blasted through to new all-time highs in the history of the world. I'm a little bit behind a lot of Trading Basis members due to having a little bit more volatility and some big winners were all pulled in at the same time. But thanks to WATR, the mighty WATR. So I'll do a little run through this. We traded the last leg. I sold here. A lot of that slippage was probably my position. Some of it was. I got huge slippage, but something what always plays on my mind is selling these things on the way up compared with taking a little bit of slippage when they finally do break trend. And this was the most slippage I've had it in a trailing stock for quite some time, back in 2018. More money is lost by scaling out of these on the way up, because if you water down your best positions, you know, I could sit through a 50% gap on WATR and still make a huge return on it on this latest leg. So it sounds insane, but you know, I'll take the log scale. If you can see the rise we've had in this stock, and I bought it, added to it again, added to it again. I've added to this stock multiple times on the way up. Most people will do the exact opposite. It's the feel-good factor that gives people. You know, this has earned its weight in. It could half in price tomorrow, and this methodology of adding to winners, and you know, the biggest winner you get, we call the big winners outliers. It could half in price, and the returns on this stock would still make more than selling on the way up. Drop it in a spreadsheet. It's a maths thing, you know. I'll tell you now, I don't teach the feel-good factor. I do the exact opposite. You know, I teach what makes the big returns when you are right. And you know, that's what you want. At the moment, we've got multiple outliers on the account. You know, I can count 5 or 6 in my account. So doing similar stuff. When you're right, you want to be right big. When you're wrong, you want to be wrong small. So, you know, most people will talk about averaging down to try and save losers and selling things what are going up. That process puts huge pressure on being right, and that is why then they start throwing out all this really cryptic, you know, research this, research that, and the more you know, the more you're going to be right. It's absolutely nonsense. You know, you're going to be right around half the time, whatever happens. You know, you're going to have strings of being right, and you're going to have strings of being wrong. That's how it plays out. It really does. So when you're right, you want to be right big. You know, Warren Buffett big. So SUR going through all-time highs today. Is it all-time highs? I do not know. No, it's not all-time highs. Trading levels, I last sold. You know, I sold here, and I bought back. Can't remember where I bought back now. This day here, I think. Or did I buy on this day on here? This one, I can't remember. There's a few stocks in my account that are very similar. SRC, you can see where I bought that one. Right side of a base. CER, you know, this one's had a huge run. You can see where I bought that one. Only added to these stocks. I've not scaled out of anything in my portfolio. The only sells I do are on it. I've been on a stop. Talking about the core positions I hold here. I have rotated out of some stocks to find more beta, but yeah, fantastic market. High five to those who've blasted through all-time highs this week and last week. Some of you took my portfolio a bit longer. Let's quickly have a look at commodities. Actually green today, so what's gold doing? Gold's kind of, you know, we noted this area was looking at a gold for a first area to sort of buy the risky dip, but the stocks aren't playing. The gold stocks just aren't in play. Moving on. Bitcoin, yep, you know, same with Bitcoin. The first time you should be looking at this is on this swing point here, in my view, but still, it's, you know, the wrong end of the curve for me, really. Just because I got asked about it, I do these things. Treasuries have only gone up since they said interest rates are out of control. Amazing. TLT has only just, you know, risen. I think it only went when they talked negative rates, it only went down after that, didn't it? go figure. Moving on. Pound US dollar, reverse vol base. Yeah, back into the range. Just put the log scale back on. And quickly, the screens don't lie. You know, we've seen this. We questioned whether it was just the start of the month, money flows coming into the markets, but it felt like the doldrums last week. You know, you could blow the stocks around just by breathing on them. This week, the screens, the end of day screens, have definitely, you know, the numbers have gone up, doubled on last week so far. So, you know, there's a lot more interest in this week's market than last week's. Are we out of the doldrums? It's 11:20. We should have traded 39% to be on average volume. Quick buzz through the large caps. I'm just going to fly through these. DWF just poking its head there. That's a recovery sort of what I don't like about, we talked about this yesterday, what I don't like about this is this big band of supply, everyone who got trapped here. So it is in the rear view mirror. It's quite a long way off now, you know. It's whether it's a psychological barrier for the market, but you know, it's not a high flyer in the growth list, so it's not for me. Triton Big Box continues. JD Sports tried to break out, dip back in. It's a pullback stock in my world, this. I'll show you the first pullback on this. Trades above the base. The first pullback day was this day here. That's when it hit our screens. Base cheat was here. That went almost to a swing target as well. Let's get into the small caps. We should have traded 39%, wasn't it? 39% to be on average volume. We've got quite a few in the small caps as well. It's SUR there, fantastic. Now I haven't got the GTRS open, schoolboy error. Dialite, obviously we looked at this one last night as well. It's another recovery. Pretty low on my sort of growth screen, but yeah, we see the base. Just because it doesn't make the growth screen does not mean it shouldn't trend. You know, recovery stocks have to start somewhere, and breaking out of a base is probably, you know, as good a place as anywhere. It's just the market's been so good, and I'm on margin, so riding trends on margin at the moment. So you know, beggars can be choosers in the markets at the moment. So many good growth names. First retracers, breakouts. Here's another of them. Not where it was anymore, but in the growth list. But 10, 11, 12, 13. Still on the getting paid end of the trend. I'll just buzz past these ones we've been talking about, just in case someone's trying to get filled. So I'll just jump back into the opening range. DAX just dipping back in after trading through previous day's highs. FTSE 100, yeah, you know, we're not interested in the FTSE 100. FTSE 250, well, yeah, you know, stocks with good growth are found in the 250 and the small caps. More risk on the FTSE 100 is just a market what's full of big blue chips and miners and, you know, big pharmaceuticals and everything you don't want in a growth portfolio. But the 250 and the small caps are going to give you a better direction of, you know, where the market I do business is actually going, and this has been doing pretty well, hasn't it? So I'll leave it there. That's a pretty in-depth view this morning. It's threatening to rain here again, but I'm trying to dash in and out before the rain starts and get some work done on my van. Okay, cheers all.